Welcome to A Voice with Colour and the rugged beauty of Inishowen. I'm on a journey painting my way from Dublin to Donegal. Along the way, I'll be meeting people who want to paint and capture the Irish landscape in watercolours. Today I'm touring Ireland's most northerly peninsula, Inishowen. It's a place with a colourful past, getting its name from Owen, son of King Niall of the 9 Hostages, way back in the 5th century. Then came the Spanish Armada, and later still it became a sanctuary for the British and American fleet during the First World War. Now, however, the welcome is for holidaymakers who come here in search of sandy beaches, spectacular mountains, and a way of life that has changed little over the centuries. One man who keeps coming back here time and time again is well-known broadcaster Gerry Anderson. Today, I'm taking him home in style. Well, I suppose in a way, Gerry, coming down to Inishowen for you is like coming home.
It is like coming home because I feel as if I'm from here, more than Derry actually, which is probably an odd thing to say. But my mother's from here. She was born about 4 or 5 miles over, as they say, that away. So I spent a lot of my childhood down here, actually most of my childhood down here. At a very peculiar time, it was around about, well, I suppose the late 50s and so on. Yeah. I was quite small then, I'm still quite small. But every night, about 2 or 3 nights a week, you'd go to someone else's house, they would bake stuff, there'd be a lot of potching, there'd be a lot of men with fiddles. Be a lot of women flying about dancing, be a lot of men singing into their caps. They used to sit there and they'd sing into their cap in their lap and they'd speak the last line. And it was great. I mean, it was so marvellous. And the people loved music and they loved language and they loved telling stories and they loved funny things. They wouldn't tell jokes, you know, they didn't tell jokes. They used to get a great kick out of someone who said something clever.
Well, I suppose then, having such close contacts with an area that had a musical culture, it wasn't such a big transition for yourself then to move into a musical career.
No, it wasn't actually, because music was around you all the time here.
But you moved into the show band scene then, and you became a musician yourself in a band, and from there into a rock band, and travelled to America. How did that all come about then?
Well, you see, one of the marvellous things about Derry, basically, when I was growing up, was that, you know, you were on the brew, you were on the dole. So you had nothing else to do. It was almost like, you know, the only thing you could make money out of was music or football.
As a normal rule of things, most people drop out of university to get involved in music. You dropped out of music to go to university.
Yeah, I did the other way around, yeah. I ended up in a rock band in America and Canada. It was a fairly, let's put it this way, fairly hard way of life, you see. So after about 2 years or so, I was getting close to about 30 years old, you see, that kind of time, when you know you're not going to be a big star, you see, in that kind of business. So I kind of looked around me and said, you know, this is great crack, but, you know, you can't go on. You'll die if you go on like this.
So you went to university, you got your degree, and then from there you moved into broadcasting of all things. What was the interest there?
Well, when I got a degree, I realised I was qualified for no profession whatsoever. So I got this job as an editor in a community magazine, and I didn't know anything about it. I conned my way into it. The guy, very, very nice of him, he gave me a job. So I got a phone call the first day I was there trying to figure out how the thing worked, you know. I was bluffing my way, basically said, yes, printing press, yes, typewriter, the editorial, this kind of thing. And it was a local BBC radio station that asked me to do an interview, and I said, no. And they said, why? I said, because I don't know anything about this. And they said, do it. You know, I said, okay. I said, but don't ask me any hard questions about editorial policy, reach, all this kind of stuff, you know. So they said, okay, we won't ask you anything. So I went down to the studios, and they asked me all the questions I told them not to ask them. So I couldn't. It was live, of course, and I just lied. So I just sat and spoke for about 20 minutes about things I knew nothing about.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, the producer came over to me and I said, listen, I'm sorry about that. She said, sorry? Why? I said, I made all that up. She said, what? I said, it's all lies. I said, what? She says, you might be good at this. So apparently, this is a terrible thing to say, but maybe perhaps, you know, the best way to become a broadcaster is to display the ability to lie fluently.
Well, Jerry, to a large extent, you succeeded at your musical career. You went to university, you moved into broadcasting. Tell me this, have you ever painted before?
Oh, no. No, when I was at school, my art teacher took me aside one time, and he actually said to me, he said that I was so bad, I was special. I had a kind of a non-talent. No, really, I was so bad. I couldn't even draw stick man. Whenever they used to, you know those potatoes, you used to half the potatoes make shapes, and I used to smudge those. No, I was really awful. I was really awful. No talent at all.
Well, I always say, Jerry, there's no such thing as a bad student. There's only bad teachers. So I'm going to change that for you today and take you down to this beautiful beach down at Leanan Strand.
Okay. That's probably the difference between you and I, Dermot. I would look at this as scenery in a general sense, but you would pick out the contrasts and with an artist's eye, which I don't have. I mean, it would seem to me there'd be problems here.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be problems with every painting that you do. But you see, the worst thing you can do is come out to a beach, especially in Ireland, because most people, whenever they think of beaches, they think of beach balls, children, buckets and spades and all this carry on. But there are hundreds of beaches around this coast and there's not a soul to be seen anywhere. So it can be a boring painting. So what do we need to make it, you know, a more interesting painting?
A lot of Japanese and Germans. It occurs to me. So what do we know? Seriously, what do we need here? Because it occurs to me, look at that mountain, right? That's changing all the time. There's different shadows. I mean, if you were asking me to paint that and I say, right, and I'm painting that, suddenly it changes.
That's right.
How do you deal with that?
What you do is you grab an image in your mind and you see it, you know, and you think to yourself, what's up there? We have, you know, greenery in the foreground in the mountain, and then it fades as it goes away.
Yeah.
And as the landmass recedes into the distance there, you can see that it gets blued. So what we're going to do is grab an image, hold it in our head, and try and get it down on the paper as quickly as possible.
So no, you're not painting what you actually see, you're painting what you have. You're using this as a guideline, but the colours and the shades, you've got an idea in your head before you actually start.
We have a lovely seascape going across here in the distance and cutting off by the background hills, and then the beach is leading our eye right down. We have the line of the watermark, the line of the tide, and that's bringing us right into the corner. And you see the way in the corner, the dark water on the beach reflects the darkness of the mountain behind.
Yeah.
That's something we're going to try and capture. So what I'm going to do without any further ado is hand over the pencil and I'll show you where to get started here. Now, after the sky, Jerry, we moved down here to the beach.
Yeah.
And we wanted to put in the underlying colour of the sand.
Yeah.
Now, you put that in more or less in stripes, just moving across, bringing the wash down as we went along. And that's known as a flat wash. And that's just to give that underlying colour. And if you look along the water's edge, you can see that you have a very light sandy colour. But then as we move back up the beach, the sand begins to get darker.
Yeah.
A different colour altogether. So what we want to do now that this first wash is dry is put the same colour over the top of this wash again. That's a mixture of raw sienna with crimson and water.
Okay.
And we're coming across along this bottom pencil line that we have for the tide line. So off you go.
Okay, right.
Now the same way as before, only coming to the second line this time. That's it.
Okay, right.
And keep dipping as soon as you feel that the brush is drying up.
Okay, just in a wee bit, right?
Yes.
That's it? I always feel that there's too much paint on it. Have I too much on that?
No, just as long as it doesn't run. Keep that going and then take this. That's okay. Keep coming across. Bring it right across to the end.
Right.
Now go back and go into the bubble this time.
Right. Okay.
Now you see the way that's bringing it
Yeah,
down
yeah,
the paper.
yeah.
Back into your paint.
It's called paint management, basically, is what we're talking about
Exactly,
here.
that's what it is.
Back
It's
in the,
trying to control the wash. That's
Yeah.
it.
and I have a tendency to go back the other way. It's always the one way.
Always the one way.
Always one way.
You were doing that with the first wash, you see, and what you're actually doing is taking the paint off again. That's it.
Yes.
And every time you feel the brush drying up, go into the paint.
Yeah, okay.
Now just watch this bubble over
Yeah,
on
I
the far
see it.
side.
I've got my eye on it.
That's it.
No bubble's going to get me. Okay, right. Yeah.
But that's
You have to be quick in this, don't you? You have to be quick. You can't hang about.
no, because the paint's drying all the time, and if we want to bleed a colour into that, we must work quickly.
Yeah,
Well, tell me this, Jerry. You know, you've been up around this area as a youth,
yeah, yeah.
and was the beach always deserted as
Never
this?
a being on it. The strange thing about Donegal, all the beaches are like this. There's so many of them. They're so beautiful. They're so clean, and they'd be so attractive. You would imagine to everybody. But
Yeah.
people around here, Donegal people themselves, have never been interested in the
Yeah.
beach. You'd never see any locals on the beach. I suppose maybe people in Spain or France would be the same. But I think Donegal people don't actually like the beach.
Yeah.
And that's one of the beauties about this. That's why people come here. That's why when Japanese and Germans and all kinds of tourists come here, they're amazed. Because you see this total expanse. There's not a being on this beach. I'm sure it would be the same on a Sunday in high summer.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Did you come to it yourself whenever
No.
you were young?
No, I did actually, yeah.
The next bit we want to concentrate on, Jerry, is the background hills. Now this is after we've finished the beach, and we're going to move here and give some distance and middle ground
Okay.
into the painting. Now if you notice, if you look up at the hills there, you can see that they do recede quite a bit, and it's all that heather and moss and rocks up there.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can't paint that all in, but what we want to do is suggest
No.
that kind of a feeling to it.
I couldn't paint it anyway.
Well, you're going to.
All right. I'd suggest, we'll paint a suggestion of it.
That's right. So what we do first of all is put on a wash of ultramarine and light red. Now this gives us a nice purplish blue. So if you want to take that brush, and we want to fill this area as quickly as possible.
Down along this line.
Yes, following along the line to give the outline of the mountain. Keep it. Just all
Don't worry about
over
those wee
there.
bits.
That'll do. Stop there and come back down and bring that all down, coming into your paint.
All right.
I'll just load the brush for you.
Okay, right.
There you are. Fill that all out now. Take it all down.
Yeah.
Take it all down together. You know, bring it all with you
Okay.
in short runs.
Oh, I see, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. It's tricky enough. Where are we here?
Yeah, get that for you.
Well, I get to paint the walls. The stone walls.
And then we have to feed some green into that, because we have a bit of grass and moss and stuff up there, and you see if we feed that in, we can get a feeling of green and heather.
Just bits here and
Yes,
there.
but keep the directional brush stroke of the fall moving up there now, and just soften that top out, because
like-
you see the way it's drying and it's getting very, you see that
That
mushroomed area there?
That be a bit there.
Yes.
Right, okay. I'll do that.
Now you see this here, you need to soften that. That's
Oh,
it.
right.
You need to blend that in.
Yeah. It's tricky enough, isn't it?
It's just a matter of bleeding the colours in, you know, to make sure that you don't get a big hard line in the middle of the mountain.
Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah.
Now
Yeah,
we'll
that-
just let that dry, and then we can do this near to area of the mountain. You know, this bit
Okay,
that's
yeah,
closer to us,
yeah.
there's more green in that.
Right.
And if you look up there, you can see that there's light shining on it. There's dark green, light green, and little walls and things.
Yeah.
So we need to suggest those
The little walls are nice.
whenever this is dry.
Yeah.
Now that the top of the mountain here is dry, Jerry,
Right.
we're going to go on to this bit that you walked up, you know, the
Yes.
up
yes.
along that path. And if you look at that, it's a lot greener than what's behind it.
It is, yeah.
It's because it doesn't have so much heather or that on it. So we're going in with a mixture of Windsor yellow and Windsor blue, and we're going to cover that whole area with strokes of the brush coming down in the direction of the fall. Here you go. Coming down in the direction of the fall. That's it.
but
Take it
you're-
all down at the same time, you know. Don't come right across. Just bring it all down. No, from here, you know.
Sorry,
Yeah,
right.
yes.
Okay. What about this here? I don't bother
Yes,
about
oh
that.
yes, bring that right in.
Yeah. What do I do now? I go down here.
You just continue on with that, and you see what I'm doing there. I'm just bringing that down into the little spaces there where the rocks are.
Which is where paint, as
This
they
one
say.
here?
This one here, right. So I go down to this wee bit
Yeah.
here.
Just keep it coming, and then we want to get that broken edge coming down there.
Yeah.
See, the whole thing, the direction of the brush stroke is very important here,
Yeah.
because it gives the the feeling of the fall, you know. There I'm just coming down into those little rocky areas. Bring that right down here, Jerry, as well.
Okay.
If you just no, this
Oh,
one,
sorry.
yeah.
Wrong paint.
This is Windsor yellow and Windsor blue with a little bit of light red just to give that earthiness.
How far do you want this to go?
Take it
Go
right down. That's it, and use the side of the brush there. That's
to
fine.
here, right.
And then you can. That's fine. That's grand.
Okay, right.
I will just put those little bits on with the smaller brush. Now, while that's drying, I want you to feed in another colour, and this is to give the variation in green. Now, if you just hit it in places like that,
Yeah.
see the way it'll bleed in,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Just
nice
like
long sweeps. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
See there? See the way
Yeah.
it blends into it?
You see, I didn't get the line of the mountain there, so it didn't look right there.
That's right. It looked as if the mountain was
Exactly.
running up the hill.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I suppose if you turned it the other way, it would be running up.
Well, let's not turn the mountain just yet.
Right, that's most of the background hills sorted out, Jerry. We have
Right,
the
right.
sweeping slopes of the mountain there that's in the middle distance. And I'll tell you something, that tide's coming in now, so we need to crack on here with these dark caves and cliffs along the...
Cave work, right? Okay.
So what we want to do there, to give the impression of those big jagged rocks, we put on a very light wash, first of all, a very greyish wash. That's maybe a wee bit too thick. So I'm just going to lighten that up with a bit of water. And we want to cover that whole area with that greyish tone
Right.
to represent the stones
Right.
and rocks over there. And then while that's drying, we can feed some of that dark colour in. So if you want to continue with that, Jerry,
Just keep doing that kind of thing there.
fill it all in.
Right. Okay. Right.
And if you leave a little white fleck here and there, it doesn't really
It
matter.
doesn't matter.
No.
Oh, I leave white flecks. I don't know
That's
what
right.
happens.
You see, if you look out there, you can see that there are white flecks on the rocks, and that's just the light reflecting off the face of the stone.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah. Yeah, I can see
So
that.
just
taking-
watch you don't
Whoa.
go into the water.
Right.
That'll do a rock on the beach, won't it?
Right. It's a wee tiny deliberate rock there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
So-
can see that taking shape. This is the line here we don't want to cross.
Yes.
Right.
So coming right along there. It's just to give an underlying colour of stone.
Uh-huh. Light's a marvellous thing.
And just let me give you some more paint. And if you... You're right.
I would paint on, you know,
Yeah.
getting excited,
Yeah.
you see.
And do this whole area here, and then we'll feed some dark colour into that, just to show you how effective it is in showing that darkness in the rock.
Uh-huh. Used to be a lot of darkness around here. I remember my grandfather telling me the first time they got the electric light here, because life has changed very little here for about 100 years, up until about the early 60s. Nobody had electric light.
Right.
And then when the electric light came, it frightened him, because he'd seen corners of the house he'd never seen before. I mean, you think about it, you
You
know.
could well imagine that, you know. Now we'll just feed in some of this. Can you see that there now, with that dark? And if we
Yeah.
put a few wee bits running up, you see the way it explodes into the wash that you have just put on?
I see that, yeah.
Try that.
Okay.
Now keep the bottom line very straight, because that's where the water's cutting off against the rocks.
Okay, and you do that
Yeah,
sort of
just a
thing.
few wee flicks here and there.
Yeah.
Keep it right down, Jerry. You see, that's it. Because those rocks have been cut off by the sea.
Yeah, yeah.
Just let me have that
You
there
don't have
again
too
for a
much,
sec.
yeah.
You see there, that has to be really level along the
Okay.
rocky bit there.
Yeah.
We're going to move on now to the water, and really that's what we're going to use, a very dilute mix of cerulean blue with a little bit of crimson to give that nice bluey shine. It's a lovely light blue.
It's just the trickiest part of the painting, is it?
Not really, it's very simple. We just have to put on 3 washes. A light wash for the underneath colour,
Okay.
and then we'll show some of that texture on the water, you know, the ripples and the deeper areas. We'll put on the same wash again over the top just to give us that wee bit of definition.
All right, then.
So it's a mixture of cerulean blue, crimson and lots of water. And we're going to work down to the wave here because we want to leave those white tops. So just coming across, there you go. Keep
Right,
your-
come across the whole way over.
Yeah. That's it, bring it right across. Now that wash, the first wash is dry, but it looks a little bit flat. So what we have to do, just to liven that up slightly, is use the same colour again, and we're coming across, putting another layer of that colour on. So if you just take that, Jerry,
How far do we bring that over?
bring it over to about halfway and then fade it out.
Right.
That's fine, but keep it flat. That's it.
Sorry, yeah.
Come back and fill this whole area here.
All right.
That's it. The bottom line should be flat so that it looks as if it's lying flat on top of the water. That's it.
Right.
and then we taper it out as it goes away to our left hand side. Keep your lines horizontal as you come across, that's it. Yeah. Now, can I just take that for a second? You know, below that wave there, just so that you leave nice, like speckle on the water. Now, there's really very little left to do, but if you look out there on the sand, you can see where the tide's just going out and the sand is still wet, and it gives lovely reflections of the green of the far background hill reflecting on the water. So how we do that is a mixture of ultramarine and Windsor yellow, and we start here and we just fill in that area with that dark greenish blue, and we just bring that across. Bring all of the wash with us as we come along. So I'm going to hand over to you, Jerry, and you can just continue with that inside that pencil line.
Okay, right.
And just bringing it across. That's it. Filling it all out.
This is coming on okay, isn't it?
It's coming on really well. And you're getting used to controlling the brush as well. You know,
I'm not just saying, as soon as you said that, I just made the wrong stroke.
Let me give you more paint. It's beginning to...
More paint for the boys. Right.
There you go. And
right down to this wee level here.
Yes. And keep...
That's a wee bit... Is that okay?
Yeah. Just don't let your paint get so... Don't let the paint run out of the brush so much, otherwise you're going to have... You see, like here, a weak paint and then a strong paint.
Yes, yeah.
Just bring it right across. You see these little bits coming out here? You've blue and green merging there, so just keep on the pencil line, inside the pencil line.
In here?
Yes. That'll do. Far enough.
Okay, right.
Now,
more?
Bring this all across, otherwise it's going to dry. We'll give you more paint.
Okay.
So you want to keep this coming, see there?
Yeah.
Get it all over so that you're right up against what you're going to do. And then bring those little bits out there.
Aye.
That's where the blue and the green are merging.
Right.
So you have this little one at the back. Like fingers coming out into the water. Don't cover the spaces.
Right, okay.
That's plenty. Now down here we have a little dark line along the front of the leading edge of the water.
Okay.
But keep that broken. You have some froth there as well. That's it. Skip a bit, miss a bit.
You don't want two even spaces though, do you?
That's it, yeah. That's lovely.
That's all right,
does that look like...
That's great. I can't believe that I done that.
A wee bit over there as well.
Yeah. Just here?
Yeah, just for the water coming in there.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's unbelievable. It's really good, that. It
just
leaps out there. Yeah. I can't do any better than that.
Right. Really all we have to do now is we can use the same paint and just put in a few wee bits of
the wee walls, yeah. Okay. Kind of like this, and
that's it.
That sort of thing. Do we need some coming over here?
Yes, there's one going up. Keep them nice and soft. Well, Jerry, that's the mountain in the background finished. We have our rocks. Look at all your little walls. You've got them in. And what do you think of this shadow now that you have this reflection in the water?
That's really good, because I mean, even though it's simple to do, I mean, I would never have thought of doing that. It's just a question of knowing how to do it, isn't it? So we're nearly finished then, aren't we?
Little techniques, yes, we're very nearly there. And look at the way you've put the wave faces in. You know,
I think I did
darkness.
that well. Yeah.
Really, Jerry, all I'd say there is left to do is a bit of seaweed or shingle along the water's edge, and some stones up here on the left-hand side, just to give that feeling of, rocky bits.
Well, I must say, it's taken a lot of the mystery out of it for me. It's great. Thank you. I enjoyed that.
Well, Jerry, the painting's finished, our day's work's done, and here we're on the hillside overlooking the beach that we've just painted. Tell me, how did you find the painting, Jerry?
Well, to tell you quite honest with you, I mean, I approached it with some trepidation because of my past proven history and incompetence in this kind of field. But one of the things I discovered, as I said before, it kind of takes the mystery out of it. Yeah. And things that I thought would be terribly difficult didn't seem to be all that difficult. I may not have done them well, but I did them better than I expected. Yeah. I would nearly have a crack at this again, because, I mean, there are some, well, I don't think you would probably like them to be called tricks, but there are tricks. You don't mind them being called tricks?
No, I call them tricks myself, Yeah. They're techniques, but
they're tricks of the trade. They're things that you have to learn before you can progress onto watercolour painting, you know, or know what you're doing in watercolour painting.
I mean, I was useless. I was really, really useless. And I was amazed, actually, that we got some kind of semblance of what appeared to be here, you know. I just couldn't believe it.
If you're left to your own devices and struggle, you know, you're going to struggle through a painting. And how are you going to know when you're making a mistake unless you can see, you know, or someone there to show you how to do it or what should be done?
Well, funnily enough, what little I know, whenever I did something wrong, I could see it right away. It just seemed to be natural. It doesn't look right. I mean, even though I didn't know what didn't look right about it, it didn't look right to me. I mean, I never thought I'd be able to paint water. That's the thing I was dreading, actually. Because you look at water and you say, right, blue, but it's not blue.
No.
And I said, how are you going to get that detail out? And using the white of the actual paper to actually, you know, represent the foam. Yeah. I enjoyed painting these hills too.
Yeah. Especially
the wee caves. The caves are down here below us, aren't they?
They are indeed,
where we sit. I was interested in how you did that. I mean, it seemed so easy.
Yeah.
So easy. Yeah. I think I never thought I'd hear myself saying that I'd probably think about picking up a paintbrush again. Yeah. But I think I probably would try it.
Yeah. Well, actually, Jerry, I was here earlier on in the year and painted a picture of the very same scene.
Yeah.
The tide may have been a little bit further out, but it's one of those scenes that just draws you into it because you have that lovely sweeping beach moving round the bay and the tide line pulls your eye right into the headland. It's the type of painting that would strike me that you just have to paint it.
That's the thing that scared me when I looked at it first. I mean, it was just so big. It seemed so big, so vast. I thought I'd never be able to do anything that would represent it at all, but we managed it.
Yeah. You see, vast areas do scare people, but it's a matter of building up tricks of the trade, techniques, to cover every aspect. You have certain techniques for covering the mountains so they look as if they're falling down towards the sea.
Yeah.
You have other techniques like covering the foreground, the sand, you know, which was maybe 1/3 of the whole painting. So we brought the brush down with the vertical strokes coming across, or the horizontal strokes coming across, and bringing that wash gradually to the bottom of the paper, and then feeding in the texture. Because one big patch of the sand, if you just leave it with one wash on it, it looks very flat and very drab. But you notice the feeding in with the brush and pulling that across, it gives varying tones to the sand, and then little stones, and that makes it very realistic.
Yeah, because when you've got that expansive sand, you know, you've got the tendency to do kind of a schoolboy painting, you know, what you see up in the sky. It's yellow,
yeah,
you know?
Blue sky.
Jim, age 9, you know?
And while Jerry ponders his newfound talent for painting, I'm off on my journey once again in search of more spectacular scenes to paint in Donegal. See you soon.